Most people believe their greatest financial enemy is a bad investment or a sudden market crash. They look for the big, visible threats, the loud ones. But the most dangerous force in your life is quiet. It doesn't scream. It doesn't show up on your bank statement as a line item. It is a silent tax, a tax you never voted for, never signed for, and yet you pay it every single second of your existence. It is the steady, rhythmic draining of your future self to pay for the illusions of your present. We are taught to measure our progress by the numbers on a screen, but those numbers are lying to you. They are designed to keep you calm, while the ground beneath you slowly erodes. By the time most people realize they are standing on a cliff's edge, the path back has already vanished. This is not a story about how to get rich. It is a story about why you are being kept from it by a system that needs your participation to survive. Imagine you are running on a treadmill. You are sweating. Your heart is racing. You are putting in more effort than you did 5 years ago. You look at the digital display and it says you've covered more distance than ever before. You feel a sense of accomplishment. But then you look to your left and right. You realize that while you were running, the room itself was moving backward at the exact same speed. You haven't moved an inch. You're in the exact same spot where you started. Only now, you're older, you're more tired, and you have less time left to keep running. This is the reality for the modern middle class. We are told that a 6-figure salary is the gold standard. We are told that a steady job and a consistent savings plan is the path to freedom. But the math has changed. The rules were rewritten while we were sleeping. We are earning more, yet we own less of our time than our parents did. We feel more stable, yet we are more fragile. The discomfort you feel at the end of the month, that nagging sense that the math just isn't adding up despite your promotions, is not your imagination. It is the friction of the silent tax. We are told that inflation is a natural economic phenomenon, like weather, or the tides. We are told that 2% is the target, the sweet spot for a healthy economy. But think about what that actually means. A target that ensures your purchasing power is systematically destroyed every single year. It is a slow-motion robbery. If someone walked into your house and took 2% of your furniture every year, you would call the police. If they took 2% of your clothes, you would notice the empty hangers. But when they take 2% of the value of your labor, we call it a healthy economy. It is the only crime where the victim is told that the loss is for their own benefit. The system relies on this psychological disconnect. It needs you to focus on the nominal value, the number of dollars, rather than the real value, what those dollars can actually command in the world. As long as the number in your bank account goes up, you feel like you're winning, even if the world is becoming twice as expensive around you. The system is built on a foundation of debt and expansion. To keep the gears turning, money must be created. And when money is created out of thin air, the money already in your pocket loses its soul. It becomes thinner. It becomes weaker. We are living in a giant game of musical chairs, but the music never stops. It just slows down occasionally to give you a false sense of security. The silent tax is the difference between what you are told your life is worth and what the system is willing to let you keep. It is the cost of maintaining a global machine that requires constant consumption. If everyone stopped spending and started truly building wealth, the system would collapse. Therefore, the system is designed to reward the spender and punish the saver. It is designed to make holding cash feel like holding a melting ice cube. You are forced to gamble your savings in a volatile market just to stay in the same place. You aren't investing to get ahead anymore. You are investing just to avoid falling behind. Let's look at the hidden mechanics of a human life. Assume you work 40 hours a week. Over 40 years, that is roughly 80,000 hours of your finite time on this planet. You trade those hours for currency. You are literally selling your life, piece by piece, to acquire tokens of value. Now, imagine that the tokens you received 10 years ago have lost 30% of their power. That means 30% of the hours you worked a decade ago have been erased. They are gone. You performed the labor. You gave up the time. You missed the moments with your family. But the value of that sacrifice has been harvested by someone else. This is the ultimate theft. It isn't just about money. It is about the retroactive deletion of your life's work. The silent tax is a time machine that only works in one direction, and it's stealing your past to fund the debts of the present. The math of the modern world is a masterclass in deception. We look at the stock market reaching all-time highs and we think the world is getting wealthier. But look closer. If you measure the stock market in gold, or in the price of a median home, or in the cost of a college education, the growth disappears. It isn't that the assets are becoming more valuable. It is that the currency used to measure them is becoming worthless. We are living in an era of asset price mirrors. The house you bought for $200,000 is now worth $400,000. You feel like a genius. You feel wealthy. But if every other house also doubled in price, you haven't actually gained anything. You've just paid more in property taxes and insurance for the same four walls. You are trapped in a golden cage of perceived equity. You are wealthy on paper, but your lifestyle remains exactly the same. This is the illusion that keeps the middle class compliant. We are given just enough of a sense of progress to keep us from questioning the underlying decay. The digital world has only made this worse. We are bombarded with images of overnight success and effortless wealth. We see 20-year-olds with sports cars and mansions. Social media tells us that if we aren't moving at light speed, we are failing. This creates a psychological desperation. We stop thinking in decades and start thinking in days. We look for the shortcut, the moonshot, the hidden gem. We become so afraid of the silent tax that we throw ourselves into the arms of even greater predators. We chase volatility because stability feels like a slow death. We have been conditioned to believe that wealth is a sudden event rather than a long-term defense. This is the hype trap. It convinces you that the only way to beat the system is to gamble within it. But the house always wins when the players are desperate. The system thrives on your impatience. It feeds on your need to catch up. The most uncomfortable truth is that we are complicit in our own stagnation. We choose the comfort of the known over the difficulty of the truth. We want the credit card points. We want the low-interest car loan. We want the feeling of being financially stable, while we are one paycheck away from disaster. True financial independence is a threat to the status quo. If you don't need their loans, they don't have power over you. If you don't fear their inflation, you are free. But freedom is heavy. It requires a level of discipline and skepticism that most people find exhausting. It is easier to believe the brochure. It is easier to follow the traditional path and complain about the results than it is to forge a new one. We are psychologically wired to seek the herd. And right now, the herd is walking slowly, calmly, toward a horizon where their savings will be worth nothing and their time will be fully owned by others. Why do people fail even when they see the gears moving? Because knowing is not the same as feeling. We feel the urge to buy things to soothe our anxiety. We feel the social pressure to live a life we can barely afford. The silent tax isn't just an economic reality. It is a psychological tax on our willpower. Every time you resist the urge to upgrade your life to match your neighbors, you are fighting the system. Every time you choose to own a piece of a business or a hard asset instead of keeping your labor in a depreciating currency, you are revolting. But it is a quiet revolt. There are no medals for it. There is only the long, slow, often boring process of protecting your future self. Most people cannot handle the boredom. They would rather have the drama of a crash than the discipline of a decade. We are living through a grand experiment. Never before in history has the entire world been so deeply disconnected from the reality of value. We have built a skyscraper of debt on a foundation of promises. We tell ourselves that as long as the lights are on and the stores are full, everything is fine. But look at the young people who can no longer afford the homes their parents bought on a single income. Look at the retirees who are forced back into the workforce because their safe pensions can no longer buy a bag of groceries. The silent tax is finishing its work. It has drained the reservoir, and we are just starting to see the bottom. You can keep running on the treadmill. You can keep looking at the digital display and believing the numbers. Or you can stop. You can look at the room around you and realize how far you've actually moved. The question is not how much you earn. The question is how much of your life you actually own. When you look at your bank account tonight, don't see the numbers. See the hours of your life they represent. Ask yourself how many of those hours are still yours, and how many have already been taken by the silent tax. The answer might be the most uncomfortable thing you've ever discovered, but it is the only thing that will make you wake up. The system doesn't want you to be wealthy. It wants you to be average, because average people are predictable, average people are taxable, and average people never stop running until it's too late. The music is still playing. The room is still moving. How much longer can you keep up the pace before there's nothing left of you to give?